to chance. This year, Santa's coming home to me. I don't know what he's thinking when he'd rather spend his Christmas holiday with someone else. I guess he stopped thinking about me. Yeah. I don't know what he's thinking when he says that he's been driving all night, all day to celebrate Christmas with me. But he's not here, and I'm not there. I don't know what he wants now, but I don't care. Yeah. Oh, ain't ringing my bells no more. Oh, he missed out on love, and that's for sure. Oh, he ain't ringing my bells no more. Oh, he missed out on love, and that's for sure. I don't know what he wants now, and I don't know why he said all the things he said to me. It means nothing to me now, 'cause there will be someone who would not complain to drive all night, all day to celebrate Christmas with me. 'Cause you're not here, and I'm not there. I don't know what you want now, but I don't care. Oh, you ain't ringing my bells no more. Oh, you miss out on love, and that's for sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, and I'm going to have the city clerk do the roll call.
Yes, Mayor, and Councilmember Peterson has requested to be absent for the study session and closed session, but he'll be here for the 6 o'clock session.
Okay.
Councilmember Bolton? Here. Mayor Pro Tem Posey?
Here.
Mayor Douglas? Councilmember Carr?
Here.
Councilmember Mosier?
Here.
Councilmember Kalmack?
Here.
And City Clerk of Stanislaus requested to be permission to be absent pursuant to Charter Section 310A. There being no objections, the minute will show her as excused.
Okay, and you'll also mention about the city attorney?
Oh, is he? I didn't realize he was absent. Is he not? going to be here for either meeting?
Yeah, the city attorney is ill this
Oh,
evening.
okay.
So he's
I
gonna
didn't
be out for
realize.
the rest of the night.
Okay.
Okay, so now you know.
Thank you. Yes.
Announcement or any announcement on supplemental communications?
I have no supplemental communications for the study session or closed session.
Okay. Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, I have one speaker signed up to speak for the study session or closed session items. It's Mr. Galen Pickett, if you'd come down.
Okay. Oh, there he is.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So in a short 2 hours, these chambers are going to be filled with angry people. And as you well know, our politics can seem high stakes and fractious. But politics are even higher stakes and more fractious in the state of Israel. And no lesser a person than Naftali Bennett, the outgoing prime minister of the state of Israel, has constructed what he calls the coalition of the good-willed. And he constructed it based on a critical observation of the Israeli electorate, that 80% of Israelis agree about how to address 80% of the problems that the state faces. And I'm quite sure that 80% of the people that approach these lecterns will agree with 80% of what's in the housing element that you're going to consider later tonight. 80% of the people that approach these podiums are going to agree with the major decisions that you've made over the last 2 years. The 2021-2022 council has been one of the most consequential of this century, of our young millennium. And you don't have to prove to me your moral courage, your fine judgment, through any action that you take from the dais. I've seen it in action in many decisions, in your courage, in the care that you've taken with the good will of this city. So when you decide tonight what the housing situation is going to be in the general plan, if it's good policy for the city, I know you're going to vote for it. And if it's bad policy for the city, if it's something that this city should never have been considered, in the political situation that we have in the state of California, in the legal situation that we have, I know you'll vote against it. Now, me, I would rewrite 20% of the housing element by fiat if I could. I would. And I do think that it is good policy. And I trust this council to make a good decision on the behalf of myself, my family, the property I own here, the future that I plan to have in this city. So I'll thank you for your attention, but more than that, I'll thank you for, well, the 2 years from the 1819 council, the 2 years from the 1920, 21, 22 council. I'm very grateful that our city has had this leadership at this time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
That concludes public comments.
Okay, then we will, I will move this so we can go to closed session.
We're supposed to do the...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I have to go down here. The study session is what I meant to say. Okay, out of habit. So, Mr. Zelinka, you are up. This is your day.
Mayor, would it be okay if I stand?
I would love it. If everyone could see you and then we can see it on the screen, that would be great. Thank you.
All right. Mayor Doug Glaze, members of the council, Al Zelinka, your city manager. As you'll recall, I think it was May 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, when you considered my employment agreement. Prior to that, you, during our interviews, mentioned that you would like a 100-day report after I get established. And by kind of rough math, 5 months, roughly 20 business days a month, we're at about 100 days right now. So it's probably not perfect, but good enough for bringing it to you. So, let's see, wrong way. So we're going to spend probably 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30 if I get a little long-winded, to talk about 3 points, some of my observations since I've been here, some of the forward-facing principles that our executive team has developed and what they mean as to how we are operating as a collective leadership team, and then some of the foundational and aspirational implementation steps, just a sampling, that are embodied in implementing these forward-facing principles. So I'll start it off with the observations, and then I'm going to engage the leadership team to also participate in this, because it's a shared set of principles that we've worked hard to develop together. So, observations. First of all, Huntington Beach, I've learned, is incredibly passionate about the city as a place. It's many neighborhoods, it's parks, it's diverse assets that make Huntington Beach, Huntington Beach. Early in my tenure, I observed firsthand and from a distance just this rugged individualism that exists here, where people have this independence about them, but yet they have this communal, this desire to do good things together for the benefit of the community. And so it's this really interesting community that I find myself a part of now, where this passion exudes. Everyone in this room is passionate about Huntington Beach. And it's a spirit that I think is contagious, because in my 5 months here, and I have developed quite a passion myself about this place that you all have been leading together. The other thing that it's probably obvious to those of you who have spent a majority of your lives or all of your lives here, but it's something that I learned, which is the incredible connection that Huntington Beach residents have with the natural environment, the outdoors, the beach, the wetlands, the open spaces, the parks, the trails. There is that passion that I spoke about in the front end extends to this connection between people and place, and the outdoors being such an important part of the place called Huntington Beach. I always knew Huntington Beach as Surf City, USA, but not until I came here did I tangibly experience, whether it was through the US Open or the World Surfing League or a great day in the Stoke or what have you, like surfing and Huntington Beach are inextricably linked. They are one and the same, and the surfboard behind you all is testament to that, but it is, I don't know, maybe there's some mountain communities where skiing is as profound a part of the psyche of the community, but clearly surfing and Huntington Beach are one and the same almost. Likewise, Huntington Beach is pretty outwardly passionate about its recreational amenities, its community centers, its infrastructure. One of the I think I've shared with all of you, one of the things I was most pleased about is that the city and its voters put in the charter the 15% requirement of revenue to be spent on infrastructure. That doesn't happen everywhere. And in fact, it's probably only a few places where something like that happens. But it's a statement about this community's passion about its infrastructure, both civic and physical infrastructure, and what it means to the daily fabric of this community. And that's something that has resonated a lot with me in my 100 days of serving you. residents are engaged. Their volunteerism is high, activity in the parks and the open spaces and the community centers and coming to council meetings, and people are engaged in their neighborhoods and in their communities. And it's wonderful to be part of a community, again, going back to the first slide, where people are passionate about their community and they put their time in, whether it's to participate recreationally or to participate civically in their community. And that's something that I appreciate greatly. Coming to the July 4th parade, one of my first event as your city manager, it was inspiring to see such a turnout of the community along the parade route, and that was really impressive. And to that point, this community is proud and patriotic. And whether it's seeing a flag flying at a lifeguard station or being in the midst of the July 4th festivities or anything and everything in between, the work of the American Legion, et cetera. I mean, this is a patriotic community, and it's something that is exuded in everything that, almost everything that I'm a part of as your city manager. This is a mighty creative community, whether it's the sandcastle in the lobby of the Hyatt to celebrate the holiday season, or whether it's the art center and the rotating exhibits there, or the boat parade in Huntington Harbor, or murals all over the city, and everything in between. This is a really creative and expressive community, and I appreciate that. Huntington Beach is drop dead gorgeous. Whether it's sunrise early in the morning or a sunset in the evening, or taking a stroll, as I did with the mayor, through the urban forest. There are so many touch points in this community that are just drop dead gorgeous and beautiful. And it's a gift of many dimensions that this city has to have such beauty in 20 plus square miles. People talk all the time. One of the common questions that I've had since I've been here is, have you been to? And most of the time that it's either a public space but a lot of the time it's a small business. Have you been to? And so, I think the first have you been to was Sweet L's. Have you been to it? No, what is it? And and it was a great place to go to. And there's so many small businesses here, and large businesses as well, but small businesses that resonate with this community, and that it's one of those appreciated things where you actually can have a shopkeeper know your name and know what you want for lunch, or know what you want in your coffee, or whatever the fact may be. Local business here matters to the people of Huntington Beach. Public safety. People talk a lot about, in communities that I've worked in, about how important public safety is. What I've appreciated here is it's reciprocal. Not only do the community members appreciate the public safety professionals that are here serving them, but I've had the opportunity to spend a fair amount of time with both chiefs and members of their teams since I've been here, and they talk about how much it means to be part of this community. It's a reciprocal. Often it's kind of more one-sided that I hear. I hear it from both sides, and that's really appreciated, and really has had an impact on me. Kind of in the spirit of Huntington Beach and surfing, but beyond that, there is brand recognition. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to it enough prior to being your city manager, but now that I am your city manager, when I have friends, I have a fair number of friends around the country and in other countries, And now that they know that I'm part of Huntington Beach, it's pretty clear to me that the HB brand is alive and well throughout this globe. And so the assets that we have here and who we are is a recognized imprint to many, many people throughout the world. And I know that in the interest of pursuing the LA 28 Olympics and possible being an an Olympic village here, that brand will pay many dividends over time. I've come to learn, as you well know, in my prior 2 cities of service, you had the elected council and then you had appointed charter officers. Here in Huntington Beach, the voters have established a charter that have the elected city council and then the elected city clerk, city treasurer, and city attorney. So I am learning how to be an appointed city manager under a construct of 10 elected officials. It's just new for me. It's different, but I think I'm adapting pretty well, and I would have to defer to all of you to tell me if I am or not. But it's as every city is unique, this is one unique feature of the city of Huntington Beach as established by the voters. And I appreciate during our interviews, you told me very clearly that you believed in the entire city team and you believed in the leadership team of all the departments and the city management. And you were absolutely accurate in what you advised me of, because I have inherited a fantastic team, and I'm grateful that you selected me to be your city manager. A couple weeks ago, we had an assembly of all staff, as many that could come out here to City Hall to take a group photo. It's not often that we can all come together and be one and to express to ourselves and to the community that we are here to serve this great community of Huntington Beach. And in the spirit that the leadership team that you described to me in interviews are exceptional, so too is the 1,000 full-time employees and 500 part-time employees, second to none. Positive spirit, love contributing to the quality of life of the city, and really care a lot about what they do and for whom they do it. Earlier this month, November 3rd and 4th, the afternoon of the 3rd, all day on the 4th, after about 4 months of me being here, we carved out the executive team under my supervision. We carved out a day and a quarter together, or a day and a half together, to really get to know each other and to really allow the executive team in total to define who we are and what we believe in and what makes us tick. And without question, we all support so many things, serving the public interest and upholding public trust. And we all believe that we can do what we do better, and we all can pursue continuous improvement so that we can have this organization and this community be the best it can be. And to that point, we defined some, a little over a handful, I think it might be 7 leadership principles, maybe 6, I can't remember the exact number, but leadership principles, governance principles, if you will, that really meant something to us as your servants. And we wanted to take a few minutes to allow the executive team members to go over each one of those with you so that you know who we are and what we believe in. And so with that, I'm going to start off with Chief Para to touch base on the 1HB mission. Chief Para?
So thank you. So the first point is 1HB mission. It means that we're one team. We're working together to serve the people of Huntington Beach exceptionally to inspire pride in our community. And this team does work well together. We communicate effectively. We have honest, open dialogue, and we're able to solve problems much better than other communities that I've worked with. So it's really pleasant to be here. One focus, to stay fanatical about achieving municipal excellence by being active caretakers of our community, people, of our unique people-centric HB culture. And Al touched on that we do have a very unique culture here, and understanding the culture of Huntington Beach is key to managing how we conduct our operations. And our team does that. They're very, very well connected to the community. So it allows us to make better recommendations for you when it comes to decision making. One goal, to ensure that HB continually improves its standing as a premier coastal community as measured through the health of our people, our organization, our infrastructure, and our community. And that one stands on its own. So we work toward that diligently.
Thank you, Chief. And next up will be Chief Financial Officer Dale Bulasan on accountability. Dale?
So accountability, excuse me, recognizes that as Huntington Beach public servants, we must be answerable for our actions and must be responsive. And to this end, our commitment as leaders, as servants of the Huntington Beach community, is that we carry out our responsibilities under the city council manager form of government as articulated by our charter and our Muni Code. We will stay grounded in our source of authority for every action. And if one doesn't exist, we'll bring it a request for that source to City Council. We'll use best practices. We won't reinvent the wheel. That's rooted in procedures proven to be effective and beneficial. Where practices and systems do not work, we will change course. And then finally, we'll place the triple bottom line approach of sustainability, which includes Huntington Beach's environment, the people, and economy as an authentic and central platform to uphold and advance Huntington Beach's sense of community and also quality of life.
Thank you. And our Community Development Director, Ursula Luna Reynosa, will talk about transparency.
Transparency recognizes that as HB public servants, information needs to be made available to the public to maximize clarity on local government actions and decisions. To that end, 1, we will regularly and publicly assess the city's operational and financial performance. We will implement steps to continuously improve our operations. 2, increased knowledge is paramount to earning public trust. We will continuously expand access to public information and welcome the community's involvement in municipal affairs. 3, individuals affected by city decisions have the right to know about the process that led to them and their impacts. We will prepare comprehensive requests for council action, RCAs, and records with transparency at the top of mind. And 4, we will increase the visibility of programs, services, boards, committees, and commissions as opportunities for community participation and public information.
Thanks, Ursula. Chris Lama, our Director of Community and Library Services, will present responsiveness.
Thank you. Responsiveness recognizes that as Huntington Beach public servants, our organization and our processes should strive to serve the public with a customer-centric approach and within a reasonable time frame. So that said, we will commit to continuous all-hands training to provide exceptional customer service for the benefit of the public we serve. We will be responsive to Huntington Beach customers' needs, ensuring respectful and responsible communication and assistance. We will diversify our communication efforts so Huntington Beach residents can access city information, share input, and receive the services they need. And fourth, we will celebrate our successes together as one HB, recognizing that teamwork and engaged, happy employees drive the success of the Huntington Beach organization.
Thank you, Chris. Sean Krubby, our Director of Public Works, will talk about efficiency and effectiveness.
Thank you, Al. Effectiveness and efficiency recognizes that as HB public servants, our organization processes need to produce results that meet the needs of our community and best utilize available resources. To that end, we have 4 critical points to present, and those are: number 1, we will work shoulder to shoulder in partnership with our fellow HB charter officers and their respective teams. Number 2, across the city organization, we will faithfully promote continuous learning, high performance, and financial responsibility to maximize the value of services provided to our HB taxpayers, residents, and businesses. Number 3, we will achieve mindsets that know how, as well as implement systems and technologies to streamline and improve the HB customer service experience and address problems effectively. And finally, number 4, we will establish and expand partnerships with local stakeholders to share knowledge and resources and encourage participation.
Thanks, Sean. Chief Haberly will review our diversity, equity, and inclusivity.
Thank you. Diversity, equity, and inclusivity recognizes that, as HB public servants, we need to do our best to serve the diverse people and places that make Huntington Beach its authentic self in a balanced and inclusive manner. To this end, our commitment to HB is we will serve all residents, visitors, and businesses with an open mind to understand their needs and perspectives, support a sense of welcoming and belonging, facilitate independent pursuits, and enhance the quality of life. We respect the diverse viewpoints in our community, which contribute to our collective strength and inform the decisions made by the City Council to benefit the community as a whole. We will ensure city workplaces do not tolerate harassment and discrimination, allowing HB employees and visitors to be their best and experience the finest public service. We will approach the work we do that directly affects the HB community with the goal of developing a shared ownership of related decisions within our community.
Thank you, Chief. Administrative Services Director Brittany Mello will talk about engagement and consensus building.
Thank you. Engagement and consensus building recognizes that as HB public servants, we need to do our best to involve the HB community in public processes so that different viewpoints and interests of the people of HB can arrive at consensus on important topics and can contribute to informed choices and decisions. To this end, our commitment to HB is that we value the equitable delivery of services and programs in HB and will foster a city culture that maximizes communications with all and facilitates inclusive civic engagement. We understand that change is ever present. Continuous, meaningful community engagement will provide a platform for community members to influence these changes. And 3, we will invest in training, resources, and tools to build the public participation capacity of the HB community, and will carry out community processes that establish relationships and build trust with the people we serve.
Thank you, Brittany. Thanks, executive team, for presenting that and also for creating those principles. What's important is we as a team acknowledge that we're not perfect, but we aim to be. And we're going to make mistakes, and it's what we do with those mistakes that matter. And if we learn from those mistakes and we mold those into better practices, then we are the best of a public servant team. What the other point is, the 1HB overarching umbrella is who we are as a complete city team. We believed in the time we spent together on the 3rd and 4th that we need to define who we are as a leadership team so that the 1,500 employees that we work with and the 200,000 community members that we serve and our elected leadership know that we are all in on doing good things for this public and that we care immensely about the work that we do as your leaders. So to implement those principles, Travis Hopkins, Catherine June, and myself, we're just going to run down some samplings of what we will implement to carry forward each one of those. Travis?
Thank you, Al. The implementation efforts focused on accountability. The that discussed earlier to ensure that we're answerable to our actions include the following 4 items. In order to ensure, we want to ensure that our actions will comply with the City of Huntington Beach charter, city charter, municipal code, city policy, council direction, and state and federal laws. And so we will continually reference the source of authority for all decisions that are made. In alignment with our 1HB mission of exceptionality and integrity, we will perform performance and financial audits of every department on a 4-year cycle. This will provide the opportunity for continual improvement of the services that we provide and ensure the performance is effective and cost efficient. The third item is annual financial and health indicators report will be developed and provided to the City Council and the Finance Commission, and it will help us establish, monitor, and track progress towards the financial health of the City of Huntington Beach. And the fourth item, we will update our operating systems based on best management practices. We have currently started a process, as you are aware, with the assistance of an outside consulting firm, reviewing the city's management processes, administrative regulations, and the procurement and purchasing procedures. The end goal will result in a high-performing municipal organization that is employing best industry practices, operating more efficiently and effectively, and providing a higher level of transparency to our community. The next item, transparency. As discussed earlier, as public servants, we need to, information needs to be available to our community and public to maximize clarity on the decisions that we make as a local government. We have 5 items that we're working on in this area. We will bring forward, the staff will develop and bring forward to the council for consideration a presentation on sunshine ordinance options with the goal of allowing the public more time to review city council agenda items and city council actions before the city council meetings. Number 2, we're committed to provide an annual report of the state of the city. This will provide the past year's accomplishments as well as progress towards the goals established through the city council and through our strategic planning processes annually. To improve transparency, the third item is to improve and provide more transparency on all city actions and decisions, and review and modernization and streamlining of our public records management, and also centralizing our public records in order for us to provide the community, the public information. And we will focus on centralizing or focus on the process of the California Public Records Act to ensure that we are complying and providing information. The fourth item is we are developing alternating biannual quality of life surveys. This will develop a custom Huntington Beach-focused, statistically valid survey to undertake and to find out and ask our residents how they feel locally about important services and issues that come before the council and within our community. These surveys will also provide a standardization that will have the ability to benchmark our city against other cities within the state. And number 5, we will provide a comprehensive and publicly available databases to track our progress on major initiatives and measure our progress on these major initiatives and effectiveness and efficacy within these programs. The next item is responsiveness, and we have 4 action items to implement that we're committed to implement. And the first one is implementing a comprehensive 311 system, and this will be a one-call system, phone number, an app to help provide information on all city services, to provide information on how to obtain a service request and inquiries from the city. It will additionally have a survey and customer feedback from our citizens so we can improve that as time goes on. The second item is we're committed to develop the Office of Communications. And this will focus on a full-service communications for the benefit of Huntington Beach residents and businesses. The office will develop a toolkit, as discussed in a previous council meeting, to improve the sharing of information with our residents and the community, and encouraging community engagement on policy decisions, operations, and city projects. The third item in responsiveness, we will develop and help, with the help of a specialized consultant, a citywide customer service training and refinement of customer service facing processes within the city of Huntington Beach. This is with the goal to elevate Huntington Beach services to world-class levels. One of the specific items in here is a one-stop shop for our development services to help provide a easy method for our residents, our businesses, and our developers to obtain permits, informations, application on all services across all development departments within the city. And then the final item on responsiveness is the LA 2028 Olympics. Although that sounds like a ways down the road, it's really coming very quickly. So we will continue to pursue partnerships with, specifically with the Visit HB, as well as other organizations, to help move forward the goal of an Olympic Village for one or more sports, surfing, and hopefully others for the LA 2028 Olympics.
Thank you, Travis. Catherine, you want to take us through effective and efficient?
Absolutely. As Public Works Director Sean Crumby had mentioned earlier, the effectiveness and efficiency principle recognizes that it's our responsibility to create streamlined processes and to also offer services that will not only meet the needs of our residents, but also prove to be the best use of our resources, and limited resources at that. So to that end, the city commits to several key initiatives to achieve these goals. Number one, 1HB will implement updated city council manual that articulates city council's desired procedures and rules for the conduct of its business, in addition to a refreshed city council onboarding process. So throughout the year, council engages in various procedures to conduct meetings and other council business, and staff is currently drafting an updated council manual for council approval that will include many of these procedures so council members can refer to just one comprehensive document to guide them throughout their terms. Also, our refreshed onboarding process will include a thorough review of the manual in addition to other training opportunities, so council will have a full toolkit at their disposal to legislate efficiently and effectively. Number two, we will strengthen our city leadership team and structure for performance and succession planning and strategic HB organizational growth to match our priorities. So, for example, within the last 3 months alone, the city has formed the DLT, or the Deputy Leadership Team, to complement our executive leadership team. This team meets monthly to give and receive feedback on their ongoing initiatives and projects. It's also an opportunity to network and learn from each other so that they can strengthen this core group of leaders in the city. We're also looking to provide additional training for all levels of staff members so that we can provide efficient and exceptional customer service for our residents. Number three, a centralized real property services function, as well as a city council approved leasing policy for HB-owned property. This should allow us to more uniformly administer, track, manage, and maintain our city-owned properties across the board. It'll also help us to support our tenants throughout their lease terms better. Number four, an expanded outreach and engagement with HB businesses through existing resources and processes. And we at the city recognize that our Huntington Beach businesses form the backbone of our local economy, And so our Office of Business Development will expand its engagement with businesses to better understand their needs and find ways to support them so they can continue doing what they do best, which is to provide services to our community. Next is diversity, equity, and inclusivity. And Fire Chief Scott Haberly described it as doing our utmost to serve every member of our community in a balanced, exceptional, and inclusive manner. So to that end, we propose several key initiatives to continue us moving towards this goal. Number one are regular town halls and community conversations distributed throughout the city in coordination with our leadership. That includes council, our directors, and our deputy directors. And I think we all know that from Sunset Beach to Bellaterra, the city has so many different neighborhoods with their own unique priorities and needs. And as such, our leadership will host town halls, not at the Civic Center, but throughout different geographic areas to invite the various perspectives that are represented across our neighborhoods. Number two, expanded and improved coordinated HB homeless solutions and behavioral health programs in partnership with our local stakeholders. And so we want to work hand in hand with our nonprofits, faith-based agencies, public agencies to ensure that our most vulnerable community members have access to the services and the support that they need, not only to heal, but also to thrive. Number three, we will implement a respectful workplace policy for all who engage and conduct business with the city. So this policy will hopefully create an environment where both staff and visitors can work together in a respectful and collaborative manner. I think when all individuals feel welcome and safe in any of our facilities, we're able to work on issues more effectively. And last but not least, we will implement accessible HB to understand and implement ADA assessments of facilities citywide and increase access for all to HB's innumerable natural assets. And so we are continuously looking for opportunities to increase access to our amenities for members of those of the community with those who have disabilities. And so we recently installed Moby mats to facilitate access to our beaches, and we will continue to work in this direction to serve our community members with disabilities.
Thank you, Catherine. Next, engagement and consensus building. As the council has expressed through its direction of staff, which we fully embrace, is to develop a community engagement policy and toolkit. We've learned a lot over these last 3-4 months, and you've all learned a lot more than me over many years here. But we've learned how we can engage the community better and have the community be feel much more ownership in the process that ultimately arrives at important decision-making choices at the City Council. We're very committed and active in updating our Huntington Beach City website, which I think everyone in this room will agree needs a lot of improvement. And we are making sure that that is super user-friendly and also ADA compliant. Working with City Clerk's office, there's a lot of functionality available in our Granicus system that we can tap to increase the public's commenting ability and access to all of the agendas and all other public records that pertain to the different boards, commissions, and of course the council. And then lastly, in addition to that community engagement policy and toolkit, is investing, as was said earlier by Brittany, in training for staff and all members of the city team so we can be more effective at being stewards of community engagement. And that's something that we all agreed is very important to us to complement the toolkit and policy. Many of these items that we just shared, Travis and Catherine and I just shared, are items that have passed by and passed through the City Council's actions. And we are merely saying that we embrace them and are very passionate about implementing them in order to implement some important principles that, that we all believe in. In addition to some of those other, there's some other initiatives. We'll continue the strategic planning process with the City Council, the incoming City Council, as this City Council has participated in. We're still actively working on the Main Street improvements under the direction of the council. We have a lot of work underway that of developing a City Council legislative platform and aligned state and federal legislative affairs programs. The RFPs are out for those services now. Very, very committed to improving the way that we do special events and undertaking the spirit of this great asset that we have, or great set of assets in Huntington Beach, where tourists come from all over the place to enjoy, is doing our best to accommodate those effectively through fully implementing the wayfinding signage program and other efforts in conjunction with Visit HB and other entities. Very interested and committed to sustainability. In the observations that I shared at the beginning, Huntington Beach is a community that is tied with its natural environment. It's passionate about its economy, and it's also passionate, complete with passionate people. And so those three pieces are the triple bottom line of sustainability. And the more we can have those three work together, the more sustainable our community is. So the Sustainability Master Plan is something we're all passionate about. The Oakview streetscape improvements and community center and library plans continue in their progress. The community-based Huntington Beach sign ordinance update, zoning ordinance updates will be in the future, as you are well aware. As mentioned earlier, we're going to kind of lean in on an updated, refreshed economic development and local business strategy to help our economy grow and help our businesses succeed. Very grateful that we are well underway with undertaking a community-wide infrastructure report card that will be community-based. And many people in this community will be involved in that process to help identify the condition of our infrastructure and the desired condition of the infrastructure in the future. Lastly, another example is the mobility plan for the city of Huntington Beach, which also will address the growing interest and concerns for the safety of e-bikes. So that's just a number of examples. So in closing, thank you, first of all, for your attention to this 100-day report. Thanks to the team for leaning in and helping to create this effort. Nothing is more important to me and to our executive leadership team than public trust. And we want to earn that public trust by the local community and by the leaders. We believe in public trust and serving the public interest. And while, as I mentioned earlier, we're not perfect, we aim to be, and we want to always do our best effort to advance public trust. I'm grateful that you selected me as your city manager. I'm grateful that you mentioned to me right up front that we have to have a really good onboarding program for the future council, which is, we're in the midst of that transition, and I'm grateful that I will get to serve the incoming council as I've gotten to serve you. And with that, I would be happy to, and so would the team, in answering any questions or receiving your comments.
Well, thank you, and spectacular presentation. We appreciate it. Mr. Posey has a question.
Well, number one, I want to thank you for this comprehensive presentation involving the leadership team. So, as you stated, that was really important to me that when we selected you, at least for me, I'm speaking for myself, that the leadership team that we had in place stayed in place, and you sort of, looks like, adopted them all. So thank you for doing that. And it looks like you have a ship going forward in the right direction. Everybody's got one hand on an oar rowing in the right direction. A couple observations. One, I was really pleased to see that you had mentioned town halls. And of course, with the COVID, we didn't really have opportunity to do too much of that. But when I was mayor, I had 6 or 7 Meet the Mayor for Coffee events, which sparked a lot of conversation, which inspired town hall topics. So this really had a cascading effect. So it's really important that you certainly do this and inspire all the council members to do this, because the Meet the Mayor for Coffees sparked conversation. Those conversations sparked inspiration for town halls. And then from the town halls, they sparked action items or agenda items. And a couple that came off the top of my head was the SB 35 lawsuit. We looked at filing a test case with the state of California over Assembly Bill 109. It didn't really have any legs, but at least we looked at it. And then we also directed the Finance Commission to look at the nexus between environmental social governance and the impact of employer contributions going up. So there was definitely an impact, but seemingly, based on the Finance Commission's report, not actionable enough. But those town halls allowed us to bring in experts, including experts from CalPERS. We brought in Senator John Morlock. We brought in consultants from the building industry. We had a very robust conversation on Senate Bill 35. So those town halls are critically important. And I know that, like I said, they weren't possible during the COVID era. And now that we're behind that, I would encourage it greatly. And then sustainability, that always seems to make people's hair stand on end, and it did mine early on until, like you said so eloquently, sustainability means economic sustainability, and sustainability has an ROI. And when we looked at buying the streetlights from SoCal Edison, I was like, oh, what are we doing this for? And then you look at the math and you go, oh, this is what we're doing it for. So, we're reducing the demand for energy, the need for energy, the cost of energy, and finding a way to monetize the ownership of those light poles. So sustainability has a broad definition, and the most important part of it is a return on the investment. So thank you for that comprehensive report.
Thank you.
Ms. Boland?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Zelinka, for the very thorough report. I want to tell you how much I appreciate hearing your impressions of the community, because living here, it's easy sometimes to forget all of the assets that we have and all of the great things that we have. So I found it really helpful to hear your reflections about what you see when you look at Huntington Beach. I just want to just make a couple of observations rather than questions. So one of the things that I really appreciate about you is you bring fresh thinking and an innovative mindset to management of the city. And I think it's really important to recognize that, one of the things that's happened with the last 2 city managers was an effort to bring in management that had that innovative mindset. And so what you are doing and what you are presenting is an example of that, and I particularly appreciate that mindset. I think there's a recognition that in many ways, the city is still operating as if we had 60,000 residents instead of 200,000, and it's time to look at some of those processes and bring those up to date so that we do things in a way that serves the community as best we can, and that helps the government run as efficiently and as transparently as we can. Many of these things are in process. So I appreciate how you have really jumped on a moving train and kept things going in the direction policy-wise, and I think in terms of ethos, that the commission requested when you joined us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Carr.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you so much, Mr. Zelinka. And I think we made the right choice. And I'm so grateful that you appreciate this executive team as the way that we all appreciate this executive team. And, you know, I spent 25 years in the business world, and you're always very nervous when a new CEO comes along because you think, oh my gosh, they're going to just clean house. They have their own vision. They're going to bring in all of their own people. And I'm so grateful that you recognize, appreciate, and value this amazing staff that we have. And I wouldn't trade any one of the team members that we have here in Huntington Beach. I think they're absolutely stellar. And I know as a council member, I feel honor and privilege to know that you guys are doing the heavy lifting every day to make our community a better place. And so it's gratifying to me to see that you also recognize that and continue to build on so many of the things that this council has requested and has implemented, and as this executive team has embraced it. One of the things that I've been so grateful as a council member is that when we bring ideas, there's not pushback. There's always the, well, how can we make this happen? And that's so refreshing. So thank you so much. And I also look forward to more town halls. It was one of the things that we did a lot of before COVID, particularly when it came to homelessness. I can't tell you how many town halls Barbara and I went to really educate the community on some of the plans that we had and that we have since implemented over the past couple of years regarding homelessness. So thank you so much for all the hard work, and really thank you to this executive team and all of the hard work that you do every single day.
Thank you.
Ms. Moser?
Thank you, Mayor. I won't repeat everything that's already been said, but I am so appreciative for all of the hard work. And when we did interview you, definitely one of the things that we talked about was just what an incredible executive and leadership team we have here, and they're so committed in this. For me, coming to the city, on the city council, one of the first things that was, I don't want to say it was surprising because I expected everyone to be great, but to come here and realize how great and how invested and committed the whole team is and how smart they are and effective was really, it motivated me that much more. We've had a number of city managers since the time that I've gone on council, 3, and I'm so pleased with our collaboration and decision to bring you here. And part of that was our discussion, and I think it was already mentioned, about our leadership team. And one thing that I think that you bring, as Councilmember Bolton mentioned, is this kind of mindset, which is, I think, calm, measured, focused, strategic, but also really providing this leadership development and a commitment to that. So that way in the future, we have people who are incredible, grown even more incredible by really paying attention to them and providing them the opportunities for that growth and development. Also, I think you provide, I think what's necessary with any kind of organization is a level of predictability and stability, and I think you provide that kind of just steadiness, which I think is really important, along with this forward motion, because as was also mentioned, I think that the city is growing up into the infrastructure, and not just the physical infrastructure, but all of it that it needs to have to be able to proceed into these next decades. We do sometimes act like we're a smaller city, and I know in some great ways we are, and we want to retain that feeling. I know I've been in organizations where we've started as a very small organization, have grown over the years, and it's hard to balance that retention of who you are and that service that's provided, but while still maintaining just a different way of I guess, of processes and systems that need to be a part of that to make it really work. So I just wanted to say thank you. I don't really have any questions, but just thanks for all of your efforts. And I feel very confident as the road that we move forward in, while there will always be unpredictable things that happen with a steady ship, I think we'll do great.
Thank you.
Well, seeing no others, we are really appreciative of your presentation, and I think what I'm going to do is ask for a motion to go to closed session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then, let me just read. Yeah, where is this? Okay, right here. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council may not enter into discussion at this time. Individuals who wish to speak to a member of the, I know that's the only one that's here. Oh, we're not going to do it? Okay, very good. All right, well, then we will just recess to closed session. Thank you.